crawling with worms.
Sure.
He says you really need to go see Goop as soon as possible.
Don't want to.
He's happy to help. Has plenty to do, so no worries.
Fine, so I guess we have to go see Goop, no matter what. So I don't know if this will be the last part or not. I feel like we're close. We'll see what happens when you go the not so good route. Sorry, I'm gonna pull real quick.
Let's see.
Okay.
Says it's good to see you again. He's Goop. You might remember him from the old days when he tried to teach you how to swim. Goop says you were always so righteous as a child, and he can still feel it, even at a distance. Goop says memories fade surprisingly fast. We are all pieces of what we remember. It's only together we can remember the story as it was. He knows he's easy to remember. There's no one out there as cuckoo as him. He's one of a kind. He understands you've returned to face Lupa Lupin. That's the destiny you've been carrying within yourself all these years.
Yeah, I don't care about
He
it.
says that the catastrophe back then didn't vanquish the good in you. It's still there, as bright as when you were a child. Now the time has come for you to remember and act. Your life is your life, not the story you're told about it.
Revenge in a different way.
He understands why you seek revenge, but he doesn't think you realize how that'll make you feel once you claimed it.
Yes, that's the way. No arguing with that.
That is how you shine light at the dark.
Seriously,
Oops.
don't doubt the dark.
I'm so proud of you for doing the right thing.
Can't
Yeah, I didn't mean to do
believe
that.
Lose a swing.
Figures the world is a goner. Even the goo will go gone. Wishes you hadn't done so much to make the goo even gooier. Wonders why you're flapping around with the Jagni. They spend too much time nesting to do anything fun. But hey, back to the goo. Knows yesterday is already gone. It's what you do today and tomorrow that'll move you forward. You need to set the past aside, at least for now. He can't leave the Subnautica station, as the pollution has worn down the insulation of his suit. So you must salvage enough scrap to fix up his goo glide, starting with the old wreck box outside. You should return when you've retrieved the scrap. There's no time to waste if you want to make the goo glide strong enough to fight the Porky Puff.
I don't care.
Out of Date told him the undersurf was the epicenter of the contamination. This was where it struck hardest and inflicted the biggest change to the ecosystem. He shouldn't need to remind you that he needs scrap to upgrade the goo glide.
Oh my god, it's not what I wanted to do.
There's no time to look back. Too busy moving on.
Did I go the wrong way? Probably. Wouldn't doubt it.
Up, down, all around.
Making me do a bunch of unneeded shit.
Your balance is perfect. Just a few moves left. Make them count.
Oof. It's almost bad.
Right in the face. All things end. The world needs saving.
Toggle the diodes in the correct order to make the hole. There.
Right where it cuts. Dead on.
No matter. What you do then?
All fired up. Super effective.
I feel like big guys are actually kind of easy to take down. Alright, you're
On the home stretch. Flash the slash. Oh, wow. The night feels dangerous and exciting. Looks like the switches need to be turned to match so enough charge can flow through the conductors.
like that.
Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. He's got the goo glide functional. You'll have a pull hook and a salvage net, but no armor, and an engine strong enough to break through the thick goo further out. There are lots of valuables left behind on the surf floor that the salvage net will enable you to haul. You just need to find the right spots. Goop says Gizmo's devised a cannon for the goo glide, but instead of bullets, it flips quacks. Squeaky distractions for the triple attentive porky puff, which will give you time to get yourself in position. The best way to find quacks is to talk to Gulp. He has the bearings of the surfipelago and knows where the quacks like to float. This means you'll have the privilege of visiting Gulp in the Sinky Dink. He'll be able to give you directions to where you'll find quacks. He's not sure, but the quacks are probably a leftover from a cargo surfer that went under in the olden days. The squeaky material must have made them surface when their box broke.
Okay, I am not. So, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
Nothing's more.
Oh,
He seems happy to talk. Says you should take care. Out of Date says that from what he's heard, you've been busy. He says he appreciates what you've done so far, but unfortunately he's got urgent news from his friend Gizmo in the West. Out of Date says he knows you're good-hearted enough to do your best to support Gizmo. He says he'll point you in the right direction, but finding Gizmo and making sure he gets what he needs is up to you. That doesn't sound good. Out of Date's forebodings are justified. The jumbo puff needs to be taken care of. Out of Date says that Gizmo is worried now that the Western Worldeater is stepping up its activity. He explains that Gizmo is working on a scrap walker vessel in order to get to the Worldeater, but needs help to get it done. Out of Date suggests that you should head west as fast as possible and see what you can do to help. He's happy to help. Hopes to see you again soon.
There you are.
I need to brush up on my Wando, but I have a feeling he believes it was you that caused the bang at the yard. Oh, and he says he knows you. You used to call him Gizmo. He gave you the oil-greased hands when he taught you how to upcycle. Gizmo remembers you as a nice kidling, and he can still sense the warmth of your good heart. But Gizmo says how you experience a memory can be different. You know the story, but sometimes the truth it brings is personal.
Yeah.
He hopes you remember that one time he taught you to upcycle, and hopes you've had some use for it over the years. He understands history made Loopa Loopin a big part of your past, your present, and soon, your future. You still believe there's some good in everyone. You still have hope for tomorrow. He says you should know that what's meant to be will always find a way, but history shouldn't consume you. Gizmo understands you still have strong feelings, but urges you to keep them under control. You've witnessed firsthand what it'll lead to.
See? On my side. Go, dog, go.
instincts can be truly awful.
The fun thing is always the right thing.
Next time, look at it with a clear heart.
Darkly dark dark.
Sad to see the Tree of Life is going to die and take everything with it, but it's not like he didn't expect it. Understands why you're bent on finishing the world off. Supposes it's a mercy to make it faster. Wonders if you liked working with the Jagni. They always hunker down in their homes, gathering their things around them. But that's not important now. Gizmo says it's taken a long time to bring the past up to the present, and where you go from here is up to you. You need to set the past aside, at least for now. He can't leave the Underyard as he has no protection against the vacuum in the dead zone, so you need to salvage scrap to upcycle the Mekton, starting with the old crate outside. You should return when you've retrieved the scrap. There's no time to waste if you want to make the Mekton strong enough to fight the Jumbo Puff. There are more crates from before the apocalypse left out in the wild. Easy to find if you keep an eye out. You should be able to gather enough scrap to upgrade the Mekton from them.
Okay.
Papa Morphobak.
Out of Date says that from what he's heard, you've been busy.
Tamuk Gabamuktab.
He says he appreciates what you've done so far, but unfortunately he's got urgent news from his friend Noko in the east.
Beboko Kontabe.
Out of Date says he knows you're good-hearted enough to do your best to support Noko.
Ugambun Ank Ugagad Yebroma Woof.
He says he'll point you in the right direction, but finding Noko and making sure she gets what she needs is up to you. That doesn't sound good. Out of Date was spot on. The hoof puff needs to be stopped.
Tolua Lu Toluka.
Out of Date says that Noko is worried now that the Eastern Worldeater is stepping up its activity.
Ewe Bomboye.
He explains that Noko keeps a fabled steed that she has planned to ride out to the Worldeater, but needs help to get it prepared.
Ko Boboye Boy.
Out of Date suggests that you should head east as fast as possible and see what you can do to help.
Ya Yumawa.
He's happy to help.
Atu Wamawa.
Hopes to see you again soon.
Yeah, okay. I'll keep being a little errand boy. Pee on the pole real quick.
Let's see.
Okay.
Turi kumbala muma. Asil natu.
Nooks isn't an easy language, but at least it's manageable. She says she is so happy to see you again.
Kanyala no toro.
She wonders if you remember her. She's Noko. She let you ride her Majut when you were a kid.
Kana munta.
Noko remembers you used to chase around with so much energy and is glad to see you haven't lost any of that spark.
Minalagi mamuru.
But that's all long gone now, though. Memories show us where we've been, not where we're going.
Sure.
Seems reluctant to even say its name. It's become personal to her too, since it's taken so many of her innocent gnotes as prey.
Ariaroche nui mumera.
Noko remembers those days too, but she never lets herself wallow in them, no matter how tempting that can be.
Ala.
She sees you're back to buck with Lupa Lupin. Can't see how there's any way to avoid that now. Not for long, at least.
Anora kapapom.
She says the horrors of your younger days were enough to ruin anyone. But not you. You've got all that cheer about you still.
Vaiseno kasaman varu.
Noko says history is like the trail you've been on. You can walk back down it any time you like, until it's worn smooth. But you get to blaze your own trail from here.
Verena masalapu.
She wants Lupa Lupin to pay too, even though she strongly believes forgiveness is the strongest revenge.
Take that light!
Really, you ought to use your head instead of your gut.
See? The darkness lets you get away with anything.
Just remember, you can always find light in the dark.
Dark? When you already know you're right.
Aplitonomuta.
Asks how many paths you've wandered in the world, and if you ever wonder about what might have changed if you'd taken different ones.
Vaiseno kasaman varu.
You can't do everything you want, can't go everywhere, can't see everything, only what you can.
Kanoruta.
Hates to think of what's going to happen to all the Gnotes when the world dies. Nothing left to care for.
Asana yopa.
Hates that you didn't care enough about the world to fight for it.
Minalagi mamuru.
Can't believe you joined up with the Jagni. They're constantly pecking around looking for things to swipe.
No,
Aplitonomuta.
they don't.
Like starving thieves in a food factory.
Kuri kumbala muma.
But let's not speak of that now.
Andro?
She has an idea where the Majut might have gone, as there's no other place it likes as much as its own corner of the open wild. She's even named it the Majut Meadow.
Ariaroche nui mumera.
The Majut will recognize the scent you've attracted while being here, so it'll probably trust you enough to follow you.
Asil natu.
You should lead the Majut back here when you find it. It's going to take time to get it calm enough to be able to ride out to the Worldeater.
Aplitonomuta.
She can't be sure. You'll have to wait and see.
Oh, sure. So dark and peaceful.
Befarbihita, hun tukub kirko.
Out of Date says the word about what you've done so far is spreading. The tribes haven't lost hope yet.
To why?
He appreciates what you've done so far, but unfortunately, he's had urgent news from his friend Wiz in the northwest.
Valu alu hero.
He knows you're good-hearted enough to give Wiz the support he needs.
Tika maperna.
He says he'll point you in the right direction, but finding Wiz and making sure he gets what he needs is up to you. That doesn't sound good. Out of Date's hunch is real. The Merc Pup is up next.
Valu alu hero.
Out of Date says that Wiz is worried now that the Northwest Worldeater is stepping up its activity.
Ugambun ang ugagad yebromo bufu.
He explains that Wiz is working on an undersurf vessel in order to get to the Worldeater, but needs help to get it done.
E baso do bubu ukoye.
Out of Date suggests that you should head northwest as fast as possible and see what you can do to help.
Ya you mawa.
He's happy to help.
Yevovo lola
Bye.
no.
Understands completely.
Okay.
The Surge Surf Factory. Keep your eye out for Wiz while you're here. Let's see.
Get this over with. There's a broken window. And I can't break it. There it is. Where's he floating?
Wuz isn't easy on the tongue, but I think he says he's happy to see a friendly face. Not too many of those around these days.
Dampati nero.
Says it's good to see you again. He's Wiz. You might remember him from the old days when he let you try his octopod?
Kamujo padaka.
Wiz remembers you were such a cheery kid, and he's glad to see that light hasn't faded from you, despite the years.
Binang vedaj.
But Wiz understands it was a long time ago, and memories get murkier the deeper you go. But says it helps to have friends with you to plumb those depths.
Inya merikado alakatia.
They've been here for you since you were a kidling, but when you left, you also chose to distance yourself from everyone that cared for you.
Kepi.
Wiz says our memory keeps things for us, preserves them until we are ready to face them again.
Palakumpiav pelukan.
He knows you've returned to face Lupa Lupin, and that confrontation is as inevitable as the tides. He's
Yeah,
not surprised that the loss of your family could plunge you into the depths forever, but you've always been able to rise like a bubble to the surface, no matter what.
Niram estamat karada.
He knows that though the tides of history may push you in one direction, you can always lay your own course.
Katrina chala.
He feels you've deserved revenge because of how you were wronged. You've suffered enough to make him pay.
Nothing shines like the dark. Oh, no, wait. Oh, well, you know.
You can't trust the dark.
Can you see how dark sets you free?
It's not too late for you, is it?
Hello, darkness. That's me, your old friend.
Non pakaran ni pala.
Asks if you ever think about freedom and whether any of us really has it. Did you make the decisions that brought you here, or are you just a pawn of fate?
Nenkanabam katal.
Glad to hear that. He only wishes he was that sure about himself.
Mikakunga.
Sad that the world is close to death. Wonders if he might be able to hold out a bit longer in an octopod.
Nenkanabam katal.
Wonders why you felt like kicking the world so hard when it was already down.
Ne antumpo nikarapu.
Fascinated you wound up working with the Jagni. He thinks of them not as makers, but takers.
The collect.
Just wishes they'd collect their own things instead of taking them from others.
Ne antumpo nikarapu.
But that's not nearly as important as this.
Batu keponan.
Wiz says that you should let the past dwell in the depths. But there's something else down there too, gnawing at the Tree of Life. He's named it the Merc Puff.
Vakantalo ulatu.
This is why he's tinker-tonkering with the octopod. But the lid got stuck, so he needs a big enough tug twister to open it up and let you a-go in.
Padal paraj iranta.
He can't leave the surge station, so you must help him find a tug twister. There's a wound-up mecha fingro in the mecha stadium that still has one stuck on its back. Find it, and you'll find the tug twister.
Palam kachoy.
He found it stranded on a shore nearby and got Gizmo to help tow it here so they could get to work on it. Toxanol probably made it to go under surf and see the damage they've caused for themselves.
Totally.
Farfarifto, Tuka Kubu.
He's happy to help.
Do I have to? I don't want to.
Ja, så var det mua.
Hopes to see you again soon.
Okay. Yeah, you come too. That's
This
fine.
here is the Sinky Dink, home of Gulp, at the very least. He's pretty sure he's heard of you before, although the details are maybe a little hazy. He wonders if you have something for him to drink. Guesses he
Drink.
does, but it's a long life in a wild world. Sometimes he's shaken, not stirred. Says you look like you've got a powerful thirst to do something in this world. Good, bad, not really sure, but it seems like you've been drinking in your destiny and liking the flavor. Wants to know if he could point you towards something fun to drink, so that you could share with the tipsy tipster. You sure look like you could use a drink. Either way, he hopes you find a way to wet your whistle before the world comes to an awful dry end and leaves us all thirsting for more. Says life's like a mystery drink. Sometimes it's amazing, and sometimes it's awful. But either way, you can't stop drinking till you're dead. Sure, that's the point. But you can't stop trying new ones. Life gets dull. Says you should toast the end of the world, but you'd better hurry. It's coming soon. Respects how you take care of yourself first instead of trying to swallow too much. Thinks it's funny you wound up with the Jagni. They drink so little, like birds. Guesses someone has to be, but he can't swallow the sight of it. But who cares about them? Says you'd be as bummed out as him if you came for the hot stuff. The Glugmocker, Nimhimbibble, and his favorite radium syrup. That one's even more intoxicating now, aged in truck tankers and all. Without a drink, and radium syrup especially, he can't move, much less think, as the power of his mind is directly proportional to the quantity of syrup he swigs. That's why he's called Gulp. The drink helps him forget the state the world is in, but it only lasts until tomorrow. The world is still doomed, even if the sun goes up. Figures the real problem is finding something to drink. He wants you to know he has other interests too. He's the Surfipelago's self-proclaimed ornithologist, for example. There are other ways than a cold drink to relieve stress, even in these dark times, and, fortunately for you, he can help. Watching Pippi's flap is calming, but better yet are the ones you can look at and touch, like quacks. Squeezing them is a great way to relax. Says he's not sure you can. Physically, that is. There's no squeeze in the world able to counteract his expansiveness.
Overuseful.
The Quack Hollow. It's just lonely. Time to disembark.
Oh my god. Connect all three cables to generate the value that matches the key at the bottom. Oh, that worked. That was easy. Is that not supposed to jump down? Oops.
Your destiny waits on the path you'll take to avoid it. to aim much with this beast.
Okay.
Nothing like a story with an unexpected ending. Someone will pay dearly for that.
Oh, I'm sure.
Gah, that's just awful. Watch your step around here.
Yeesh.
Locked.
Oh, motherfucker.
You need to line up the switches so they match.
Okay. That was close.
Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework.
Good, good. Oh, you bastard. Let's go, bud.
Gulp says he'll bibble anything once, as long as it's drinkalicious, even rocket fuel. He once mixed up some tankers and drank that. It was a real liftoff. That leads him to the bottom of that particular bottle. Radium syrup. If only he could find a tanker truck to empty. He's not in a state to go looking, so he's counting on you to help. Go find him a tanker truck and bring back some of that precious radium syrup. Please. Says they might be good for other things, but not for anything better than adding zing to your drink.
Bam! The dark wins again. Right? Right?
You're always going to stumble with the dark.
Don't doubt the dark.
It's okay if I curse the dark just this once, isn't it?
I'm just glad to be on the winning side.
Okay. What's this one? Do I have to? Why not? This is gonna take a lot longer than I thought. Probably.
That's enough quacks to sustain the Googlite flipper with infinite ammunition. Goop says he was there when the Porky Puff took Out-of-Date's leg, so this World Eater has made it personal. After that, Out-of-Date started using his head instead of his legs and came up with the plan on how to best make a stand against the World Eaters, and it wasn't by foot. He seems happy to talk. Understands completely.
Good, you better.
Stories only survive if someone is listening, so pay attention.
No.
There's short of breath and death to this zone. Better take care. He who half breathes, half lives. That's the leftover you're looking for. Stay away from that biohazard. You'll want to wash yourself off for a month.
Really? Okay. So it is, well, I just go same way I came? Pretty sure. I don't remember. Bitch.
Nice and steady.
Just scrap those probably.
The underworld critters are meaner than anything.
Oh no. Oh well. Yeah, there's your perks.
He says that's enough to get the Mekton functional. You'll have an engine, a fuel soaker, a gun, and a gathering net, but no armor, nor enough oxygen supply. He made a suction device, so the Mekton can use the black tar as an instant refuel. You can also use it to clear oily goo puddles, so you can pass and access hard-to-get-to areas. He's been working on another project for the Mekton, a cannon, but it needs ammunition, and by that he means the scripts. He says if they're trained right, they'll turn into a distraction for the jumbo puff. The best way to find scripts is to go talk to Moog. He knows the ins and outs of every breathing thing left alive after the apocalypse. Unfortunately, this means you'll have to venture farther out into the dead zone than Moog's camp on the steep depot. Once you find Moog, he'll be able to give you directions to where you'll find scripts. Gizmo thinks
Yeah,
he's a
let's
little
go.
peculiar, but very knowledgeable. He has the ins and outs of all monster and creature whereabouts.
So get that stuff.
Oofda, you're riding canned thunder. Leave that scrap behind. That over there is Steepo Depot, the cliffside that Moog hangs on to. Uppity up up.
Botsi. Inmo. Diava.
This one's impressed to see you out here. He figured you'd be dead by now. Not many are as tough and clever as you must be.
Gar.
Claims he goes after the most dangerous game, huge monsters.
Vaxa u intabadan.
Moog says that all your power doesn't do you a bit of good if you're not willing to pull the trigger when the time comes.
Kalba.
Out there with the monsters, it's kill or be killed. Which will it be for you?
Ahai arin gashumai.
You might have a steady aim, but you need to be sure that you pick your targets with care.
Lemma.
It's hard to make those life or death decisions for others, but someone's got to do it. Otherwise, they'll do it themselves, and you know they'll miss.
Ova bubug ad.
Claims he mostly kills whoever he doesn't like.
Guru.
Worries that when the world dies, there won't be any monsters left. What will he shoot then?
Ralivav Cairo.
Gets why you're thinning the herd so hard, but he wishes you'd leave some monsters for everybody else.
O Waxu.
Approves of you working with the Jagni. They have the hunting spirits of a flock of hawks.
Ja.
Enjoys it when he gets the chance, though they're not much good against monsters.
Zif.
But enough of that, right?
Waxa nach Galesei.
He says the wildlife, nature, has changed and turned against us. Instincts of survival took over when the world changed.
Mashaku Hirsave.
He's not sure about their veggie diet anymore, and if it's changed, who knows what it's done with the chemical composition of their body output. Right now, though, he feels he's come to a point where he's got a pretty clear idea on the whereabouts of monsters, both tall and short.
Maskilka Michael Tagukal.
Says as big as they are, the world is bigger. To find where they are, you need to see where they've been.
Manshela Fat.
Moog says you must learn to walk before you can run. It takes practice before you can call yourself a monster hunter. Fortunately for you, he can help. He understands you need to start off with something small before you go big.
Wow.
There's no better place to start than a squip cave. Hunting down a couple of these little critters for yourself should keep you on your toes.
Intabadam Faurujundu.
Says you stick to the hunting and shots present themselves later.
Well, this is not too far.
Biohazard makes your skin crawl. As long as karma exists, the world changes, and we change with it.
Can't just jump. Or can I? Alright, what do I do?
There's so much more below the ground. Oh, idea. Go knock the lid off that sludge truck. It'll fill the place up and you can get up to that entrance there.
Just like that.
You need to line up the switches so they match.
Ooh-wee.
Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework.
Good.
Netted a critter. Small things for your big ideas.
They're so cute.
Hunter. Oh, yeah, why bring a knife to a gunfight?
Yeah. Might have to go up for that melee. Oh yes,
A double-edged
another
sword.
one.
Climbed right in. That was fun. Nothing simple.
Oh,
It's
come
locked.
on.
He says that's enough scripts to sustain the Mekton's claw crane cannon with infinite ammunition. Well done. That's the special weapon he made to store the scripts in the Mekton. It will be strong enough to launch them at the Jumbo Puff. Gizmo's made vehicles before to confront the Jumbo Puff himself, but failed. But this time, it's different. The Mekton will be strong enough to do the job. It's time to put a stop to the Worldeater now. Otherwise, he fears the damage it's caused to the tree already will be too much to handle. There's time to improve the Mekton before you confront the Puff. There are more wreck boxes out in the dead zone with gear you should be able to equip the Mekton with on your own. He got the idea to build the Mekton when he found a big crate containing the metal frame for something Toxanol had named an exoskeleton. Gizmo wants to help if he can.
Yeah.
Says talking to you was interesting.
So good.
Stand against that. Blasting it with buckets.
Too bad you damn right.
You found the Majut meadow. Watch out for the Majut. Get out of here.
Seriously? Back me up to the wall, jackass. There. just follow me. That'll work too. Good. Except for that I actually... press Y and do anything. Alright, yes, Hallie, let's go.
Now that the Majut is back in the pen, it seems calm, but Noko is still concerned. She says the Majut is still anxious, but fortunately she knows just the thing it needs to calm down. The Majut once found and ate a bonbon gummy by mistake, and that the chewing really calmed it down. She says that you should find some bonbon gummies for the Majut by the crossway. At least, that's where she found some last time. It was the mere sound of the hoof puff that started it. She's never seen it so upset. It just ran away before.
Okay.
That shield your eyes if the daylight hurts you. Looks like the control box handles need to be wheeled with buzzed wire. Wired up and ready to go. Clothes make you look unnaked. Should protect your legs.
Health stuff.
Keep hold of that.
McFly. Alright, where's the rope?
Finders keepers.
Damn right. Fuck, did that not burn? Holy dude.
The cranks like these usually need to be wound to operate the dispenser. What you see is what you get. Once it's out of the blind box, that is. Locked solid. You flick the switches in order to greenlight the current and activate the electrons in the panel.
There.
Good. The loop is electrified enough to spark.
It's just a door to go outside. Oh, it's a bunch of crap. Bunch of crap.
The mountains are so tall, peaked. With its attention diverted to the chewy bonbon gummy, the Majut calms down. But Noko is still concerned. She's relieved the Majut has calmed down, but you'll need a heavier sit-tight to ride it than the one she's got. The only sit-tight she can think of that would be heavy enough is one she's spotted mounted on an old world mechamerchant.
Chialdo male canodo.
If she remembers correctly, she spotted it at the Smilo shopperia while scavenging for treats for the gnotes. That's not so far away.
Anora capabom.
Seems the old world had plenty to offer, and all in one place for those obsessed with material things. Almost too much, if you ask her. A Smilo shopperia. Guess shopping here put a smile on your face. Love to hear a mount's footbeat. Wow!
Got you. Whoa.
Someone locked it solid. Disgusting. Biohazard. Just gross.
Yummy. Biohazard.
Broke it down to the basics. You need to line up the switches so they match.
Oh, that was easy.
Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the frame.
Good.
Eye boxes like this. Now hold on. Sit tight. Isn't that the mechamerchant over there? You need to loosen the bolts without rattling the mechamerchant. That's it. The sit-tight is loose. Time to stop horsing around and get the sit-tight back to Nocco.
There. Am I done yet?
Andro?
Now that the
far as you
Majut's
go.
got a mouthful of bon gummy and the brand new sit-tight is in place, the Majut is ready to ride.
Good.
Asil natu.
Nocco's been training another fantabulous little critter that'll hopefully become a distraction for the hoof puff when you confront it.
Pendrine senema.
She's called them glitter moths, and the best way to find them is to go talk to Mito. She's asked him to keep them somewhere safe.
Asadutu.
You'll find Mito at Brightlight. He's a light-headed fellow, but hopefully he'll remember where he stored the moths.
Pendrine senema.
He's been able to literally shed some light in the darkness for her over the years, but also because of his cheerful manner.
Sanna jode.
Nocco is always willing to help.
Brumble
Let's go.
narsamambu.
Understands completely. This place is called Brightlight. Mito lives close by.
Zykantum.
Let's see.
Let's see. A mountain is the opposite of a swamp.
Kamui.
With the world getting darker by the day, there's not much time left to save it. And even though you've just met, he feels you're bound to play a huge part in that. Claims to be a simple lamp maker, bringing light into the world as best he can.
Saja Sentiri.
You've found your way through the darkness. You shine like the sun in the sky, but will you use that power to warm the world or burn it?
Joko.
Begs you to center yourself in the light. It can show you the way out of the darkness.
Turindum.
No matter where your path takes you, though, it's important to remember where you came from. The past bright lights the present.
Tuto Zinkutimpo.
Wonders if you know how much of an effect you've had upon the world. Your presence changes things like light changes darkness. Did you realize that when choosing where to shine?
Okanku.
Figures that doesn't matter. You can't help but shine either way. Wishes you could see your way toward using your fire to light the way in the world, rather than burn it down. Stunned that you decided the world wasn't worth saving, what was it that burned you? Thinks it's funny you worked with the Jagni. They tried to rob him once, but he scorched away any that got too close. Says if they didn't want to get seared, they shouldn't have been so close. Says he can see by the twinkle in your eyes that you're not here to talk about your allies. He assumes you are here to be enlightened. He can't blame you, as everything just feels dark and hopeless these days. There's something about you, like you're knit together. Your fate's connected. What you've said, he feels too. So, why not call him Me Too? He senses you're like the dayfly, living every day like it's your last, afraid that when night comes, it might be proved right. Believes no one is entirely dark. Even the worst have a spark of good in them. Mito says he's not only into those who shine bright, he likes things that glitter too. He reckons you haven't seen a glitter moth, and says it's about time you did. Even though they're nesting near gone grass, they never run out of glow. Finding yourself a glitter moth would give you that glimmer of hope you need to continue all the way to the end. You really do need them alive. Dead glitter moths fade.
Fine.
History is nothing but a series of stories.
So it is the spot I was thinking of.
Seems like a sturdy rope.
Sturdy enough? I was gonna fall for some reason. That would have sucked.
A smart foe would lead. Glitter Moth Cave is right here.
Yeah, there we go.
The dark's good for sneaking up on things. That's enough glitter moths to make her plan work. She wants you to stop worrying about the paths you've ridden and focus on the inevitable road ahead, the one that leads to confrontation with the Worldeater.
I'm not doing that.
The who hoof puff is evidence of the duality of evolution, utterly beautiful and grotesque at the same time. She means that the hoof puff has had more time to eat at the root, as it's been isolated in the Knoopstonies mountains. So, based on that alone, she reckons it has suffered as much damage as the northwest root that's hidden beneath the surf. Everything in nature is dual, and so is evolution, as it struggles to find balance in creation. She wonders what could be more beautiful than imperfection.
Good question.
I don't want to point a finger, but the Mecha Stadium is near here.
Ouch. Good.
Definitely not open.
Really?
Locked up tight?
Really? Okay. Gotta find a shortcut.
You're such a luckster.
Crap. Ooh. That was close.
You need to loosen the bolts without unsettling it.
Jeez.
That's it. The tug twister's loose. Let's hope it turned the grabbing hand into a helping hand, too. It's shockingly dark out there.
Perfect fast travel. Should be good.
Alla kumpia perukan.
He believed the tug twister would do the trick, but now realizes brute force won't do the trick. You need something slick.
Potirako.
He agrees that it's an option if you want to break stuff, but in this case you want to keep things intact, so it won't leak once you get under surf.
Eka.
He says the lid should open if you sprinkle grease it. Problem is, he's all out.
Dampati nero.
He knows his old friend Choo Choo always keeps his grease sprinklers well filled. He should have an extra that you can borrow.
Enkan pamikatal.
He stresses that
course.
you should come back as soon as you've retrieved the grease sprinkler. The Merc Puff is crunching bark by the minute.
Kapining kalkalay.
Wants you to think of it as a black tar spritzer. The dead zone is full of that slimy black goo. It's good for fuel, but it's also slippy stuff.
Masato konto pa. Go.
you had to do was follow the steel path. The rails might be getting rusty, but eventually they all converge on him. Claims rails are like rules. If you follow them the way you're supposed to, everything good in life can roll your way. Says you followed the rails to where you need to be, but tracks have switches in them too. The question is then, will you keep on the same track, or look for a way to hit that switch? He thinks you're on a dark path right now, but there's no reason you can't find a wheelhouse and get yourself turned around. Whichever way you go, he wants you to know that the rails never steer you wrong. Stick to them, and they always bring you right to where you're meant to be. Wants to know if you've ever regretted taking one track in life instead of another. If you could go back, would you switch tracks or keep chugging along the one you're on? Likes your sureness, the way you keep at it like a chug-chug with no way to reverse. Feels like the world's on a runaway chug straight over a cliff. Says the world might have lasted longer if you hadn't stomped on the go pedal so hard. Thinks you shouldn't work with the Jagni. They once tried to bolt one of their masks to his face. They did an awful job of it. Took forever to get those bolts out. But let's not get derailed. Says he's surprised to see anyone this far out, but sometimes the wrong train does take you to the right station. As you can see, he didn't plan to make a stop here, but now that he had to, he's really happy to see you. He says his name is Choo-Choo. He's been off track since the world started dying, but he's trained his mind to stay positive regardless of the situation. Thinks that's fine, but there's no path in this world that's not been already made. He's convinced the tracks are like the paths our lives take, and you must deal with the outcome, even if you didn't lay them yourself. This time, though, he was sidetracked and needs a new wing nut to get back on track. Wing nuts are easy to find, as they're fitted on any in-front chugger-chugger out there. The challenge is taking them off, so he's happy you're here to do it for him. Says there's nothing to it, just don't let the chugger chug you down.
Now you're getting into the dark groove.
That's not a groove, it's a rut.
And what's wrong with ruts? I love ruts.
Groove, rut, whatever, you can still escape it.
Escape it? No way. Enjoy it.
Do I have to? Okay.
The wing nut chug tunnel. It goes on forever. Seems like a peculiar item. Watch for trouble. Could come from any corner.
Yeah, they're gonna get in trouble.
Chop chop.
Your shields are terrible. Okay. so much. Cool.
That's just nasty. Biohazards make you puke. That might come in handy.
Alright. There. That wasn't too bad. I seriously picked up what I needed.
It's a ride, not a friend, right?
Okay.
Choo Choo says he knew you'd come through. If someone makes a stop at your station, it's for a good reason. But he understands no one gets their tracks greased for free. He'd be happy to part with his spare grease sprinkler, as he believes it's a great fit for any of your business that needs to be unstuck. He keeps it safe in a box on the handcart, in case of emergency. Wants to keep it there in case of an emergency, but realized it's long overdue already. The world crumbling and all. Choo Choo says you should help yourself to the grease sprinkler. It's a versatile tool from the bygone, a last of its kind, so don't let it go to waste. He's convinced you'll put it to good use, as there are lots of stuckies out there that need greasing to open. Says he's glad to see it in good hands, rough as they might be.
Getting darker around here by the minute.
There's still time. Dark hasn't won yet.
Oh, but it will. And we'll take our time to enjoy it.
Just like you to enjoy the end of everything.
Hey, even endings have to end.
Choo Choo says he can't wait to get out of this place. Says talking to you was interesting. You shouldn't worry about smashing up the box. Choo Choo has no use for it now. Choo Choo says he feels strongly about helping his next, just like you did for him. He's convinced there was a bigger reason you met. Sometimes the wrong train will take you to the right place. He believes you've got what it takes to make a difference. He's witnessed it himself. Figures everyone chooses their own path. The longer you ride the rails, though, the easier it is to travel with friends. Choo-Choo's thrilled you found the Ark. Just imagine how much faster than a chug that thing must be. And no rails needed.
Kompata,
Needs no rails, no roads, nothing but air.
muy canto pasabata chuchuchu.
With the world ending and all the chugs going with it, it's fun to think about what kinds of yards the Ark could take you to instead.
Chuchuchu,
Hopes you'll be careful with the Ark. That's the last one around these parts.
chuchuchu.
Wonders who you might call aboard the Ark with you.
So what we have here is someone looking for a way out if everything fails. There's a seat open on the Ark, but why would you want this company?
You know, I've been bad. As much as I can, I might as well
What
continue.
really happens when you make a conscious choice to be alone is that you abandon a part of your life that was supposed to be filled by someone else.
Let's agree that a conscious choice is better than an unconscious one. It's only when you stop listening to your own thoughts that you're truly.
But it's hard to discover the astonishing light of your own being if you are too lonely or close to darkness.
Regardless, you'll never lose the company of yourself. At least you'll have that all the way to the end.
Chuchu,
Hopes you figure out someone better to ride the Ark with you, if that's possible.
chuchuchu.
Choo-Choo says he's ready to pack up and leave.
Koi,
Says you're welcome back.
Good.
Wiz says that there's no plan to confront the Merkpuff until the octopod is properly armed.
pahanarkal iran tanahal.
He knows you'll need something that packs enough boom to put a dent in that shell, or better yet, head. Pyro sticks will do the trick.
No kachika,
He says his old friend Boom makes all things that go bang.
gamuga.
There's a rumor that some of Boom's pyro sticks shot off and are out there roaming free.
No kachika,
You should keep an eye on the horizon for pyros. If you're fast, you have a shot at catching some of them before they go off.
Uliana.
He's a peculiar little fellow that's been fiddling with splodies since he was a kidling. It runs in his blood. Their family recipes pack a punch. That's a bang cloud, where Toxanol used to make all sorts of splody things before it blew up in their faces.
Really? Wasn't it? Whatever. From a distance.
That looks like an unbanged pyro stick on the loose. Better catch it before it goes off. No better time to get moving than daybreak.
Come on. Oh, I did get it. Good. Much quicker too.
The pyro sticks will cause a bang, but targeting is on you. At least now you have a chance to hurt the Merc Puff where it counts. He hopes so, as there's no Plan B, or more correctly, Plan C. Out-of-daters named this Plan B. Plan A was to take on the Worldeaters by foot, or flaps in this case. Turns out swimming down there was a bad idea. Wiz has been working on another cannon, but instead of pyro sticks, it squirts guppos, scaly distractions for anyone with an appetite disorder, and irresistible for the Merc Puff in particular. Seems the best way to find guppos is go talk to Gil.
Oh my god.
He has a natural sonar and knows where the guppos sub the surf. This means you'll have to go visit Gil at Burblebottom. Tells you it's a sort of fish that's able to reproduce really fast, which is a real advantage when you're going for infinite ammunition.
Should be the last thing, right?
Happy to finally get to meet you. He's seen a lot of things wash up on his miniature shore, but nothing as exciting as you. Claims to have been born swimming, but he must flap-flop clear of it during these dark days. It must have been upstream only to get to this point in your histo-future. But which way are you going now? With the flow or against? Once you see which way the waters flow, it's a lot easier to go where they're going, even if that's over the edge of the world. Either way, it's a shame the surf has gotten so nasty. Thinks life is like trying to ride a wave. You need to pick the right one, but you don't really know which one that is until you're on top of it. Better to ride a wave than let the perfect one pass you by. Wonders who would want to. The right wave takes you where you want to go. Figures he's ridden his last wave, though, what with the world coming to an end. Doesn't understand why you made the goo gooier. Can't stomach how you hang with the Jagni. They keep so much stuff for themselves that they could share with the world. Claims they have way more than they need, and the rest of the world suffers for it. But none of that's nearly as important as enjoying the day, right? He never drank from this pond because of the disgusting things done there. Even the fish stopped drinking here after the pollution made the surf muck and the air blocked his gills. He figures the Tree of Life isn't drinking either. Or, well, that's not true. He said it does drink, as it has no other choice. It's a tree, but it's forced to drink poison. Says that hardly matters. Even if he could have once, who can now? His friend Wiz needs guppos for one reason or another, and Gil is ready to point you in the right direction. But here, you're only going to find dead ones. He's pretty sure Wiz wants them alive. Well, at least the ones that aren't already rotting. If you head in the right direction, you'll find a clean enough bit of surf to snag yourself some guppos. Then you can get them to Wiz for whatever he has in mind. Helping both you and Wiz makes him double happy. Hope you haven't seen the sky for the last time.
Not yet. Crap. Perfect. That's what I need.
That paid off.
Gotcha. Crap. Oh, I did get it.
The best kind. Guess you still want more than that. Locked, but good.
Yeah, open. Golly, it looks so weird. Okay. And a way out. Aha. Wasn't so bad. Crap.
That
Son of a bitch. be serious. You have to be exact. Jeez Louise. I think.
That seems to be enough guppos to provide the octopod with infinite ammunition. He's surprised the Merkpuff's been able to hold its breath all this time.
Just like it.
It's just another proof of the evolutionary change caused by Toxanol's contamination. Being undersurf has meant the Merkpuff has been left alone to munch on the route down there undisturbed. This means the northwest route has suffered more damage than the others. He's sure there's enough time to confront the Merkpuff, but he worries if the world has enough years left to last his lifetime, even if you stop the Worldeaters.